What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about the best what you can get in terms of finishing this entire workshop. All right, now we're talking about weapons, hunters, blessings, blessing stones, etc. Now, I'm on the free-to-play account, but I'm going to talk about both free-to-play and pay-to-win because I think it's going to matter for everybody anyways. Okay, so first off, let's talk about weapons. Weapons that you want to bring to this fight to make this a lot easier for your life. Now, you guys are very aware here that water weapons are going to be key here. So let's talk about the main water weapons that you can bring. I'm going to show you guys here because I don't have all of them on my free-to-play account. Currently, I'm trying to finish 25 floor, and I'm almost there, guys. And I wanted to bring this tip up because now I'm starting to understand this a little bit better and starting to actually try a little more. Okay, so for weapon-wise, your two main weapons in this game are going to be the Scatty right over here, if you have it, or the Grimoire. Grimoire specifically here does really good because it freezes a lot more often than Scatty does, but Scatty can also do a little bit more DPS depending on what A level you have. But these two here are going to be your bread and butter in terms of your main DPS weapons. Now, I have neither of these on my free-to-play account, so it's still possible to finish content without them, okay? So let's talk about the other weapons that you want to bring into this fight if you have them. So first off, Moon Shadow Blades, A1, amazing. Amazing, amazing. If you have these will actually help you quite a bit, slow down time, help you adjust to the new content, at the same time bring out quite a bit of damage, and also increase the damage you do to the opponent as well too, right? So you can see here, increased damage taken by 10%, or if you have the Scythe, which everyone should have as A1 at this point, also a very, very strong option as well too. If you are lacking any of the weapons I just mentioned, this will do a ton of damage. Just remember, you do lose damages or health as well too when doing this, but it is a powerhouse of a weapon. And then lastly, the Plum Sword. The Plum Sword is going to be your staple main form of weapon to use here for SSRs, especially as your support weapon to increase your crit damage that you do, especially if you can get it to at least A1 or push it even further if you can to A3. Now, with those in mind, there are some very, very good SR weapon options as well too that you don't want to miss out on, and let's talk a little bit about a few of those right now that I have at least in my repertoire. So on my free-to-play account, Westwind, of course, will always be a staple. This will be one of the best weapons to use in the game for any content you do, so absolutely use that. Redeemer Bow at A4 and up, amazing. A3 and below, I wouldn't consider it that much, but if you have that above, definitely use it. The Kasaka Blades, believe it or not, here are actually going to be a very good option for this Cerberus run, not necessarily for Vulcan though, because the bleed doesn't apply, but this might actually help you a little bit more during Cerberus, not because of the bleed, just because you have the ability to kind of follow the opponent more often with this, and it'll help you guys do a little bit of water damage. And then lastly, the Falcon Sword, if you have it, is not a bad option to use as well too. Personally, don't recommend it as much as the other ones, but it's still available for you as well. So those are probably some of the better weapons I would advise using in this content. Everything else here kind of feels mediocre. I've tested a few different things out just to try different builds, and quite honestly, I just haven't had enough of an impact from anything else to really matter. So those are the weapons for Jinwu that are going to matter quite a bit. Now, regarding hunters, let's talk about those. The main hunters here that you're going to use are going to be Alicia and Meilin. The reason why, of course, is Meilin gives you the buff for water. But sorry, if you have her what is it, A2, I think, that gives buff for water. Let's just double check here. Yeah, there it is. So the A2 version, buff for water. If you have A1, it's still pretty damn good. Plus, she removes the shield from Vulcan if you can get to that point. A lot of free-to-play players aren't even there yet, but when you do decide to get there, she does allow that. She also increases core damage for Alicia, which is a huge part, obviously, and the fact that she also helps with some extra buffs like attack increase, defense increase, etc. Right? So Meilin is going to be a staple buffer in this game for you for these runs. Nam is going to be one of your best breakers, especially for floor 25 when you have to break those opponents that have that bar going. So a really good option here is Nam. Sa is obviously going to be the better option. If you guys don't know who Sa is, that's Jiwu. That's how you say her name apparently. So Jiwu Sa is going to be your best main water breaker, but Nam is no slouch because the only reason why Jiwu is better is because she does more DPS, but Nam does way better at breaking. So keep that in mind when you're doing this, okay? A couple alternatives you can bring is Beck here in case you want to do some defense down and also some break options. He's probably the next best option in my opinion. And then of course, if you have Cha is going to be your next best DPS melee to bring in this fight. And of course, don't sleep on Min. Min is going to be a massive part of buffing. So if you bring Alicia, Min, and Meilin, you're going to have a powerhouse of an Alicia, at least if you have her at A2. And also, just so you guys are aware, Parky Jin does play a pretty damn big role here with Breach. She can also remove the debuff that Vulcan does. So if you're stuck on Vulcan and you don't have Meilin and you don't have somebody to use, you want to use her to remove that fire debuff so you're not constantly hit by it. So she's a great option to use, whether it's the Hunter's version or if it's going to be the Jinwoo version, okay? So those are the best hunters and my recommendation to use in this fight. Lee Bora is a really good option as well. I want to give her a quick shout out because she does give Charmed as well, which is 15% more damage. So if you don't have Min, Lee Bora is a good option to use with Jinwoo as well, and also SM Beck, which gives you 20% more attack. So that's another really, really good option, a solid option to use as well too. And also if you don't have Meilin as a shield breaker for Vulcan, Dongsu is a very, very important one because he actually does have the passive trait to remove shields on opponents. So he's also another one that you might find yourself using because you're lacking anything else, okay? Now, blessing stones for Jinwoo here, just so you guys are aware, the best blessing stones, I'm going to actually go through the codex because this is my free-to-play. Again, I don't have all that stuff, but I'll show you guys the codex versions of the best blessing stones you could possibly use. We'll talk about the rare versions of them so you guys have that under your control. So advanced dagger technique is really, really strong here because when you get Vulcan or anybody into 70%, you do more damage, plain and simple. Another really good one here is going to be the Pulverize. Pulverize is massive in this because everybody takes break damage pretty much, that matters. And then whenever you do the break damage on somebody, you deal 12% more damage. Very, very powerful one here. Boss Slayer is another really strong one. You do lose your dash, but you gain 8% more damage. And then of course, if you have the elemental weaknesses, you can use the weakness detection. And then double-edged sword is also very powerful. Now, some of you guys might, this is a might, end up using Chains of Blood, depending on how much HP you lose, will give you guys quite a bit of an attack. And also some of you guys may use Camouflage if you're dying quite a bit, or Sharp Perception if you have it at a higher level, of course, the higher tier. So those are the options I would go with, and those are probably going to be your best ones. Also, don't forget Reawakening. I think this is an important one that a lot of people neglect. That's the 8% cooldown. At a higher level, I believe it's 12%. So something you may want to consider as well as a really good blessing stone. Now, here's the trick. And it's not even a trick, it's just a grind, right? At the end of the day, it's really, really about grinding. You guys can see here, floor 25 is where I'm currently stuck on my free-to-play account. So let me just get to the content for a second and show you guys. And I'm so close to beating it, guys, and I'm trying to make a guide for you guys on it, but I can't make it till I'm almost done. You guys can see here, I'm at 243, 305. Okay, now this is with this team here. I use Nam, Alicia, and Cha. Now, you have to keep in mind, your blessings here are going to matter. I have critical hit damage, decreased monster HP, decrease. Now, all of this comes from this burning overpass. The trick really at the end of the day is you have to go in there and get the best possible buffs you can. Ideally, you want the highest attack power buff, the highest crit damage buff, and if you can somehow muster it, get yourself that 40% ultra damage. If you get that 40% ultra damage, guys, you're pretty much set to finish this, because if you can ult with Alicia and ult with Cha, you're pretty much got it done. So tonight live, I'm going to be doing my best to try to get this done. So if you guys can join me today at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be here to help you guys both from the pay-to-win side and the free-to-play side. Now, the pay-to-win side, I've got 2 full tickets left. So I've got a lot of attempts to do different runs to show you guys different options to get this done. On the free-to-play side, I've got no attempts left except for this last one, so I'm going to try to push this as much as we possibly can. I just redid this while I was doing a video. My kid woke up, so I got brand new blessings. I'm going to test these blessings out. The goal here for me personally is to get as much blessings under my belt and see which ones are actually the most effective. See if I can help you guys finish this. Now, again, before I had a chance to record this, with my previous blessings that I had before the recording itself and I switched them up, I was able to get the boss, the last boss here, down to 40 or 30, 35 bars, I think it was. So it's getting much, much better, even in the red. So I can tell you guys now, the main blessings, like I mentioned to you guys, there's probably 5 or 6 of them that you really want to focus on. So the attack power one for sure, damage dealt to the monsters. If you get the highest one, I think it's at 6%, maybe a little bit higher. Get that one as well too if you can. The crit damage one's important. The ultra one is the best one. It's 40% more ult damage, which is crazy good for Alicia and for Cha. And then also, if you guys can get anything else that boosts your critical hit damage, those are the main ones you want to focus on. Remember, you get 3 of them, right? So you guys can see here the monster damage taken by 3.6%. That's not bad, but you can push that higher because this is just a basic version of it. The user's attack, HP, and defense by 4% is not bad as well, but you can get the user attack to 6%, I believe, on the legendary one. And then the user critical hit damage is what you want, not the crit hit rate. So if you guys can get some of these, I suggest try it out. But remember, it is completely RNG. So every time you go in here and every time you attempt this, it's going to change all 3 of your buffs. My suggestion is, the moment one buff changes and it's not the one you want, restart and do the stage over again. It doesn't take long. Honestly, it takes about maybe 3 minutes max to get this done. And hopefully you guys can get the buffs you need. 2 out of 3 even if you have to, and just go test. That's what I'm going to be doing. So again, I'll be doing that live with you guys to see if I can pull this off. I think I need 275 to be out of the red and into the white. So I'm a long way away. It's a ways away, okay? I've got to be at least like level 75 or so to get that done. And you know what? At that point, I'll definitely be able to do this. But I love this. This is a challenge. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to be a challenge. So eventually, guys, I will figure out a strategy and I'll definitely make a guide for you free-to-play players. But remember, I'll be live today for both free-to-play and pay-to-win, and we'll be doing various different content on that. All right, guys, it's Payne. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.